Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jarvis Escott with What's Happening in Birmingham. Today, I have the honor and pleasure of being with Miss Likis-James, who is the Vice President and co-founder of Blanket Fort Hope here in Birmingham. Miss James, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Just want to take time this afternoon to sit down with Miss James and have an opportunity to talk more about this great nonprofit and a great upcoming event you all got coming up as well.
You cannot call me Miss James. You have to call me Alexa.
Okay, Alexa. So, first question is, what is Blanket Fort Hope?
Yeah, it's a great question. A lot of people want to know, why Blanket Fort Hope? Do you remember when you were little? Did you build blanket forts? Mm-hmm. Did you feel safe?
Yes.
So I think that it's just a unique name, and I think the whole idea was a fort is a place, it's a fortress, it's a place of safety where we've planted our flag, and you cannot come into our fort because it's surrounded by an army. So a blanket fort is a place where you can be creative, where you can be safe and have a great imagination. And I say this in all of my interviews, when we talk about a blanket fort, my boys used to love blanket forts, and one of the things that they used to ask me, or one of them for sure, said, God can't even see me in here. And I was like, yes, he can. It's like, no, he can't. So I think that's the whole idea behind blanket fort. It's just a really safe and secure place. And our blanket fort has a name, and its name is Hope.
Okay. What year was the organization founded?
It was founded in 2015. Lauren, the president and co-founder of Blanket Fort Hope, I met with her through another agency where she was the interim COO, and we just started really dreaming about how we could best help more children, and recognizing that there was nobody in the state of Alabama working with child victims of human trafficking. And so that was birthed about 8 months before we actually started Blanket Fort Hope, which was in 2015.
Okay. Delve a little bit deeper for people who don't know what human trafficking means. Can you kind of explain it a little more?
Yeah. Human trafficking actually means sex trafficking and labor trafficking. There's also a component called organ trafficking, but we're not really going to talk a whole lot about that because we don't really do a lot with that. But human trafficking is sex trafficking and labor trafficking. And a lot of people think that it's just basically through kidnapping. It is not. There's so many different ways that human trafficking happens through social media, through it can happen at the airport, it can happen at your school, it can happen on social media. And it's basically where another human being sells another human being. And I'm sure you've heard this a million times. How many times can I sell a drug? Once. I can sell a human being over 20 times a day. So that has become a better commodity than a drug is, because once you sell a drug, you have to go back and purchase that drug again, correct? So if you've got 5, 6, 10 kids, young ladies, young men, and you're going to have those kids for about 5 to 10 years, then you don't have to worry about going out and repurchasing that product. You have your commodity, and you can make millions of dollars off of them.
Oh my. So what services do your organization provide?
Well, once right now we are in the process of hopefully opening a drop-in center. Then our next step will be a home for children. But right now we just started a foster initiative where we're training therapeutic foster families to kind of wrap around this drop-in center. And at that drop-in center, we will be offering every service that a child needs, from medical to trauma-based counseling, any of those services they would need, any school services that they may need, any group services that could possibly happen. We'll be working with their drug issues, we'll be working with their STDs, anything that child needs, food, on down to whatever services that we can offer in order to get them on the next steps, which is going to be a long-term type housing where hopefully they can stay with us and one day we can send them to college.
Okay. Let's go back for a moment. You was talking about human trafficking. What are some signs that the average person wouldn't see if they're out and about, and they can say, something doesn't look right?
Something's not right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great question. People ask us all the time, and one of the big things that I hear is, we're afraid. We don't want to know about this, but what I tell people is that knowledge is power. That's the first thing I want people to understand. So I don't want you to be afraid. And the next thing I want to tell people is that we have an opportunity to balance the scales of justice, because when there's more, my voice plus your voice could be synergistic, and we could equal 4 voices and so on. And so we can make a difference. So some of the things Let's just say, for instance, in school, where you have a small, a middle school child, you start noticing a change in their behavior. You notice a change in their grades. There may be a new tattoo here or a new tattoo on the back of their neck. It could be a barcode. It could be something like a daddy tattoo. They might start having more expensive jewelry, wearing long sleeve shirts. They start detaching from their friends. Those are some things that should really be a telltale sign. And we do work with counselors, and we did a training for the whole state of Alabama counselors, and we try to get into schools and churches and emergency rooms. You have a child that's having multiple abortions. Why is that happening? You have a child that has STDs. Why is that happening? You have a child that's often being hurt. And some of these kids, and parents say, no, that's not true. Some of these kids are living at home and sneaking out at night and being trafficked at night because of the fear factor. They've been groomed through social media. You do not know who you're speaking with. You could be 45 or 15. You could be meet somebody at the mall, and the next thing you know, they've threatened your family. And this is not pretend stuff. This is real stuff that's happening in our state. Lots of times this happens through modeling agencies that are not real modeling agencies, but they have all the storefront that looks good. They'll, how beautiful you are, and the next thing you know, the parents say no, and then the child sneaks out and starts meeting with this person, and then this person starts selling them. And many times a child doesn't even recognize they're being trafficked because they've been groomed. And, every child feels misunderstood. Every child does. Then you put in the pressures that we deal with every day. I mean, I'm sure you feel the pressures every day of just life. Not feeling pretty, not being skinny enough, not being this, not being that, not being the athlete. Then you're having problems at home. A father or a mother might have died. There could be a divorce. They're just, everything's falling apart in their world. And traffickers, they'll look for algorithms, on Facebook, and then they can start attaching themselves to these children. And then they can start, being nice to them, and the next thing the child's telling them their life story. They fall in love with them, or they think that they do. And then the scenario goes on. It's great for the first few months until the person starts selling them multiple times. So, baby, if you love me, you go do this again, we'll have enough money to leave. And the child just doesn't even recognize that that's what's happening. Plus, they start getting them on drugs because they're keeping them up all night long. Then they've got to go to school in order to do what they've told them to do. Then we've got an STD, HIV, we've got a drug problem. And an average lifespan of a child that's being trafficked is only 7 years. I mean, if you have an STD that's not being taken care of, it will kill you. If you have HIV and it's not being taken care of, it will kill you. If you've been raped 20 or 25 times a day, their little bodies aren't going to hold up to that. In our emergency rooms, sometimes they are the first to intercept a child like this, so we're trying to teach them, because even then, the trafficker will bring them into the emergency room, and the child's too scared to say anything. And I don't want people to be afraid, but I mean, even like on our video games, Roblox was one of them that they actually shut down for a little while, because you build, I think, houses and rooms, and the lawsuit was around a father who was pretending to be his son, and there was somebody on the other side of the video that was like inviting him to come to his bedroom and to come see what his room looked like, and told him how cute he was, and to come lay on his bed. And the next thing you know, you've got a 9-year-old that's wondering what's going on and scared to death, and he may give him an address, he may give him where he goes to school on accident, and then you've got a child that could be caught up in trafficking.
Oh my. So, what challenges do your organization face? Besides money, of course, is the main thing.
I think one of the biggest challenges that we've been facing, besides the fact of what we're dealing with, I mean, that's a challenge itself, is that people just don't believe it's happening in our state. And I would have to say that the Southeast is probably one of the heavy hitters for human trafficking. 20, 65, 85. Anywhere you have a major freeway, you're going to have human trafficking. People are coming up from Florida, from Texas with these gangs, because we're a safer area to traffic in. So we have that kind of trafficking going on as well, where kids are being put into school and they're recruiting school-age kids. So I think those are all challenges. We do work with police departments, sheriff's departments. The Fusion Center that was set up years ago after 9/11 for terrorism now has a human trafficking component there. And so we're always have great new information from them. It's staying ahead of the fight, and it's staying ahead of our children are at risk, and people just think this is regular, prostitution, that somebody makes this choice, and it's just not true. There's case after case of labor trafficking and sex trafficking in our state. And the sad part is lots of times it's not even identified as trafficking because the trafficker does not go to court, because the trafficker gets away, because the child is too scared to tell the pimp or tell on the pimp. So then they can't call it a trafficking case when it is. So the real numbers are not being reported, in my opinion. Making sure people are trained has been another challenge, and for people really to open their eyes and not being in fear about this, I think has been another challenge. I think people believe if they listen to it and they talk about it, it's going to make it more real than it is. But us not talking about it and having this conversation like we're having today is, that's only going to make the problem worse. It's knowing something and doing nothing about it, to me, that's worse than the actual problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another reason why I'm here today is you have a great event coming up on Saturday.
We do.
It's called the second annual Hoops for Hope.
Yes.
Can you tell people a little bit more about it?
I can. First of all, you need to bring your basketball team. It's our second annual Hoops for Hope. It's going to be held at the Hoover Met Complex at the Finley Center. It's this Saturday, September the 8th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can sign up your teams all the way to Friday. We'll take a few walk-ins on Saturday. It's going to be an actual competition. There will be first, second, and third place. We'll be giving medals away as well. And there's fun teams. We had teams last year from 11 all the way up to 65 years old. And we hope over the next few years to have divisions with the more serious players. But I think the biggest thing I want to tell people is this is a way for us to raise money to help these kids in human trafficking. So get a team together of 3 or 4 people. It's $25 a person if you bring 4 people. And the difference you'll make in a child is massive, with an event. And plus, it's going to be fun. 99.5's going to be there. They're going to be doing a remote from there.
Okay.
They're going to have 3 teams that are going to be playing, which is always a whole lot of fun. We have an MC that's going to be there. We also have a really fun game that we're doing. It's called the Half Court Throw.
Okay.
Which I tried to do last year. Okay. It didn't work out very well. And McAllister's Deli is hosting that. And what's going to happen there is whoever wins, so it'll just be one winner, whoever makes the half-court throw will get a free meal a week from McAllister's Deli.
Oh, that's great.
I know. So, if you don't do anything, come and do the half-court throw. What's it going to hurt?
Okay.
It's a donation of $5.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I challenge you to come do the half-court throw.
Yes.
Don't act like you're not coming. Are you bringing your team?
I need to bring 2
Are you bringing your team?
I'm going to have to get some icy, what they call icy hot or something.
That's what we'll provide.
Ankles or whatever.
We'll provide it. You got to know a team.
Yeah.
That's what, it's just going to be fun. And I think, like I said, at the Hoover Met, it's beautiful. They've got 25 courts. We have 3. We've got a real ref that's going to be there. Okay. And it's to 21 or 20 minutes. And so the games go really fast. It's really fast competition. And you're guaranteed 3 games. Everybody's guaranteed 3 games. And then, we start eliminating through those games. Okay. And so, it's just really a whole lot of fun. And it's a great way to spend a Saturday. And Alabama and Auburn fans, and I know you're out there because I'm one of them, I created this event around the football.
Coordinated schedule.
Yeah,
that's very important. You got to coordinate. It's just the evening game, afternoon game.
Whatever it is. However, next year we hope to do an August event. There will be big screen TVs there, so you can watch your game in between if you want to. But remember, both of these teams are playing, kind of off games. So it's all good. It's all safe, and just come on and come play with us. Alabama game until 2:30, and I'm sorry I can't remember what time the Auburn game is. Okay. Roll Tide. Sorry. Okay. All right. I'm kidding. What are you going to do? Right. I'm going to be in trouble, aren't I? Oh, I'm for everybody today.
Yes.
The main thing is we're all for a team, and we all have a really good time, and I think we have an opportunity to come together and help. The youngest child we've assisted on was under 5 years old. Okay. So there are families that are trafficking these kids for drugs, and you have a unique opportunity this weekend to come have some fun and shoot some hoops and be a little crazy or be a little. We got some serious people out there, and some people that are just like, we're just here to have some fun. So bring your team, sign up.
Okay.
And you can go to blanketforthope.org/events and sign your team up there.
Okay, so definitely want to come Saturday, but for more information about your organization, where do they go, especially how to donate?
Yes, you can go to blanketforthope.org, like organization, remember that. And you can go on our page. We have great information and resources. There's a donation site that you can go to. We have monthly donors. You can also make a donation in memory of someone that we just was brand new and we're really excited about, to be able to honor the people that you love. Or you can do a one-time donation if you want to. But it is a great way, for you to be able to help these kids and know that we're using that money for these kids and this new drop-in center that we hope is going to happen in the next year, and a possible home for the child victims of human trafficking.
Okay. Well, Alexa, thank you for taking time out your day. Great organization. Any way we can help you, please let us know.
Yes, sir.
And for more information, please check out this interview and more of my interviews at whatshappeningbirmingham.com. Thank you all again and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.